Ana Lourdes A. Marapak, and I'm one of the future educators from Eastern Visayas State University. And for today's video, we're gonna talk about the history of mathematics. So what is history of mathematics?
History of mathematics is concerned with the origins of mathematical discoveries as well as the mathematical methods and notation of the past prior to the modern era and the global spread of knowledge. Written examples of new mathematical developments were only found in a few places.
So along with this video, we're gonna ask some random future educators to answer what would be the importance or how thus history of mathematics helps them in the future.
My name is HAZEL Alibio. I am a first-year college student taking up the Bachelor of Elementary Education in Eastern Visayas State University. As a future educator, the learning of history of mathematics for us to have a knowledge about where it came from, who discovered it, as well as when it discovered. It encouraged creative and flexible thinking by allowing our future students to see historical evidence that there are different and perfectly valid ways to view concept to create the computations. This historical knowledge, it increased students' motivations and helped them develop a positive attitudes towards mathematics. Through this, it gives us a way to understand patterns and help us to understand the world as well.
My name is Frintis Arabender from BEed 1C, and today I'm going to answer the question about the history of mathematics. So the history of mathematics, it encourages creative and flexible thinking by allowing students to see historical evidence that there are different and perfectly valid ways to view concepts and to carry out computations.
I am Arvin Hironjo Arpon. The importance of mathematics as an educator. So as an educator, you are ensuring that your students will have the knowledge and skills that will help them not only succeed in life, but also be empowered by mathematics to become productive citizens of our democratic society. Instead of having students practice solving problems, using work example involves having students explain the steps of the problems that have already been solved. This strategy reduces working memory load so learners can focus on understanding the meaning behind steps in problem solving. Mathematics helps us understand the world and provides an effective way of building mental discipline. Math encourages logical reasoning, critical thinking, creative thinking, abstract or partial thinking, problem solving, ability, and even effective communication skills. So likewise, as an educator, better problem-solving skills, it helps us think analytically and have better reasoning abilities. The reasoning is our ability to think logical about a situation. Analytically and reasoning skills are essential because they help us solve problems and look for solutions. So that's all. Thank you so much.
I am your future educator, Claire Mediendo. So, learning the history of mathematics, it helps to the future educator, especially us as a future educator, to become aware of the processes, steps, struggles through which the mathematics was developed. It enhances the understanding of the content they wanted to share with the learners, equips with a strategy or a method for incorporating historical materials for their own teaching style. It was expected that the students simply absorbed information and assimilated it into their own way of thinking and understanding on how they can use the mathematics according to its history. Students were often placed into ability to groups, receiving different levels of content. These groups proved nearly impossible to move out of on how they can come up with an idea that they can get on learning the history of mathematics. So, lastly, it has an impact of social, economic, and cultural forces on mathematical study and creativity. Thank you.
I'm Daniel Cabalejo. The importance of mathematics as an educator. As an educator, mathematics is important because mathematics contains everything we've seen and we have. We also need the learnings about it for us to be able to teach our learners well. Our community or our society can't be built without mathematics. As we all know, without numbers, the buildings, houses, and the infrastructure surrounds us cannot be built. Mathematics is important in everyday life. It tells us how our environment works and how everything functions. Mathematics also provide learnings and improve our problem-solving skills.
I am Hazel ORIA, and now I will share how does learning the history of mathematics help me as a future educator. As a future educator, it is very important for future primary school teachers and mathematics teachers to get to know the genesis of mathematical concepts and statements, and many studies and research point at this. By learning the history of mathematics as a future educator, I can be able to use facts about the history of mathematics to get students interested in the topic I will teach. Telling appropriate anecdotes about great mathematicians contributes to pedagogical work, by example, in the best possible way. There is a general agreement that famous historical anecdotes are effective in order to break monotony and make the class more interesting. If I as a teacher is effective, I can make my students like a mathematician. They may get interested in his or her work more. Gus was only 9 when he managed to add numbers from 1 to 100 in a very short time. For primary students, it can be very interesting, like Thales managed to measure the height of pyramid by using its shadow and was known as one of the 7 wise men of Greece. Both of these facts can be used easily in the classroom to engage children. Teaching topic is very effective if the educator has wider knowledge or idea about the history of mathematics developed through the history.
I am Jerasa Gibilialin. For me, learning the history of mathematics helpful for us as a future educator because it gives us a way to understand patterns, to quantify relationship, and to predict the future. Math helps us to understand the world, and we use world to understand math. The world is interconnected. These skills can be used in every job out there. Employers know that not every employee is going to come with subject matter expertise, but they can do to expect that people can think critically and learn quickly. Math educations build every skills. Math help us to understand the world and provides an effective way of building mental discipline. That's all. Thank you.
Giselle Inzolordi, and the question is, how will you apply the across curriculum learning and cultures and geography? Studying geography gives me knowledge about different places on Earth and how they relate with each other. Usually I start by learning about your culture, community, regions, country, continent, and so on as I gain more experience. As the world becomes more globally a congruous and important job educator is to help children and youth acquire knowledge about cultural differences so that they will able to work together and solve future problems together. That's all for the day. Thank you.
I'm MELANY YAMAS, and mathematics has a transversal nature. If we reflect on the history of curriculum in general, then mathematics, geometry, and algebra were 2 of the 7 liberal arts in Greek as well as in medieval times. This historical rule supports the notion that mathematics has provided the mental disciplines required for other disciplines. That's all. Thank you.
How does learning the history of mathematics help you as a future educator? It allows me to understand how the mathematical concepts were born, how mathematical thought evolved over the years, the difficulties met in dealing and understanding certain concepts, in providing acceptable definitions, in handling the contradictions as well as the abuse. It allows understanding the who, how, why, when, and by which means the concepts evolve, the range of methods used, methods perfected over the years.